Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha. Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha. Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha. Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Atmavandan everyone. Namaste. Very warm welcome to you all. Thank you so much for joining today's session. So today we're going to carry on with the amazing book called The Compassionate Buddha by the very learned AnandMurti Guruma. And today we're going to carry on where we left off. So we're currently on chapter 23, entitled God is Infinitely Forgiving. And we're on currently page 236. And today we'll do this reading, this chapter, and then we'll finish off with a short meditation. So the last paragraph we read in our last session went as follows. The questionnaire says that he has heard that by observing celibacy for a year, he will get self-realization. Well, all I can say is that it is sheer nonsense, gobbledygook. Celibacy does not mean forcefully suppressing the sexual urges, forcefully controlling the mind. It is not something that can be enforced. Celibacy happens naturally when you rise above the body and dependency on the body. When you start drinking the nectar of bliss within, then no need remains for seeking any sensory gratification. There is no question of force or forcible suppression. The story goes that Surdas wasn't blind from birth. He once saw a woman who was standing on the terrace combing her hair. He got so enamored by her and became so lustful that he ended up marrying the woman, who happened to be a prostitute. He stayed with her for several years, and in that period of time he begetted children and got so deeply involved in his married life that he completely forgot all his spiritual practices, neglected taking the Lord's name. Then one day, an intense dispassion arose in his heart, and he lamented, I was a devotee, but alas, what have I done? He saw a sage who was singing the Lord's praise. He went up to him and asked, Oh, holy man, what will happen to me? The sage imparted words of wisdom to him and helped him to come out of the bondage he had created for himself. And when he came to his senses, he smashed his eyes, saying, It was because of these eyes that I fell from the spiritual path. Now that I've become blind, there is no chance of the same incident happening again, as I will not be able to see any woman, so there will be no question of me falling in any traps. Those who listen to this story may feel what a great devotee Surdas was. But I ask you, those who are blind, don't they get any sexual urges? Don't blind young men and women marry? In Haryana, a husband and wife are my followers, and both are blind. They have children and live happily, performing their spiritual practices together. Does a sexual urge arise in the eyes or in the mind? The wave of sexual desire arises in the mind. So what is the point in smashing the eyes? What is the logic in that? There is sect in Christianity wherein before accepting anyone for monkhood, they dismember their genital organs in the belief that with their destruction sexual upsurges won't occur. What baloney! What an utterly foolish notion. Is sexuality in the genital organs or in the mind? As long as the upsurges keep occurring in the mind, then even if one forcibly controls the body, one will seek fulfillment in his dreams and through his imagination. Don't eunuchs get any sexual desires? Of course they do. Such so-called celibates, I think. If we smash our eyes, then we won't see any women. Avoid looking at women. So run away to the mountains and live in isolation. But will that prevent sexual urges arising in the mind? Celibacy is not about forcefully suppressing and controlling your mind. It has nothing to do with control and everything to do with your power of discrimination and balanced thinking. Just as you know how much food to eat, and if there is lack of judgment, no power of discrimination, then people keep on eating whatever they can lay their hands on, but naturally become obese. I heard that once Bondulal was invited for performing someone's death rites. A lot of delicacies had been prepared, and Bondulal heartily gorged on all the mouth-watering food. Bondulal had a reputation for his eating prowess. He could eat and eat and eat. The host had to send him back in a cart, for there was no way he could walk with the massively bloated stomach. When he reached the home, he was crying out in pain, produced by the overeating. His wife asked him to take a digestive pill. Bondulal cried even louder. If only I knew I could take some medicine to help with my digestion, I could have eaten some more food. There is no point in deliberately fasting on some days with the aim of reducing one's desire for food. People observe fasts on certain days, and all the time their attention is on the clock. When will the fast get over? Desperately waiting for the fast period to finish. What is the need for this? All that is needed is balanced, sensible thinking and doing everything in moderation. In fact, as long as the Kundalini Shakti doesn't awaken, no matter how many times you attempt to deliberately observe celibacy, you will invariably fail to do so. This is because the waves of sexual urges arising in your mind have nothing to do with your enforced abstinence. They don't know that you have taken a pledge to keep away from sex. Moreover, the way people keep on condemning sex, the fact is that it is not shameful or a deplorable act. After all, if your parents hadn't indulged in sexual copulation, you wouldn't have been born. Rather than no sage, no master could be born either. So how can you condemn it? What is needed is for you to be in charge of your sexual urges, rather than sexual obsession taking charge of you. I will get pleasure by indulging in sexual interaction with someone else's body. This is the basis for people indulging in sexual gratification. But if the desire for joy gets fulfilled from meditation, then such an individual will not desire another's body to obtain fleeting pleasures. Just as eating food leads to satiety, but if you offer food to someone whose hunger has been satiated, he will decline to eat any more. Those who live their lives wisely in moderation, utilizing their power of discrimination, they never have to observe any kind of fast or deprivation. The one who is perpetually absorbed in the contemplation of the divine, celibacy comes naturally to him. And on the contrary, those who attempt to suppress their sexual urges, this will become like a volcano, and when this will erupt, it will lead to large-scale destruction. But the so-called pseudo-sadhus only know the language of suppression and not of wisdom. When you enter deep into meditation, especially dynamic meditation, Sakriya Dhyana and Nishkriya Dhyana, wherein there is no physical or mental activity, you will find that all sexual upsurges simply dissolve. But remember, that mind is peculiar. The more you prevent it from doing something, the more it would want to do that very thing. So your mind kept on thinking about what sort of thoughts will I get, what should I write down? If you were to abruptly ask someone not to look behind, that is exactly what he will do. Look behind. The human mind always holds a strong attraction to the proverbial forbidden fruit, which is always regarded as irresistibly delicious. Label a locked chest with "never ever open this trunk," and such will be the curiosity that people will fall over each other wanting to open the trunk. Likewise, when the sadhu asks the student to keep away from sex, the mind will think only about sex. Another thing I would like to state in this context is that when there is lack of love in a relationship, then the husband or the wife will perpetually have a feeling of unfulfillment and will seek that sense of fulfillment through sex. The deeper the bond of love between husband and wife, the less is the sexual interaction between them, because the mind is fulfilled, satiated by the love. It is worth remembering that mind is not seeking sex. Mind is in fact seeking love. It is lamentable that there is a lack of love in most marriages. It is hence no surprise that on the slightest rift, either the husband or the wife is quick to say, "It is my misfortune that I got stuck with you. If only I had opted for the other proposal." If there is love, these thoughts will never occur in the mind. Love leads to satisfaction, fulfillment, and conversely, if there is no fulfillment, the mind will keep going astray. Remember that in olden times the Hindu culture was very open-minded and allowed the daughters to select their own groom in the ceremony of Swayamvar. Draupadi had a Swayamvar and so did Sita. After all, shouldn't there be compatibility between the minds of the two people who will spend all their lives together? But people say it doesn't matter if the personalities and minds don't match. What is more important is that their horoscopes should. So all in all, to come out of sexual upsurges, there is absolutely no need to suppress or deprive the mind. All that is needed is balanced thinking, power of discrimination, the regular practice of meditation, and presence of awareness. And if these qualities are not there, no amount of suppression or deprivation will help. It will in fact harm you. Question. You have said that by observing anger and sexual upsurges, these waves arise and then pass away. But as far as sexual urge is concerned, my experience has been that if my wife is close by, I have the urges. But when she goes away for months, there is no urges. How to get rid of this sexual desire residing in the subconscious? Well, here we go again. Remember the story of Surdas I reiterated earlier. If we don't see women, our mind is controlled, and vice versa. But this cannot be a practical solution. It is true that you are giving time for spiritual practices, but then it is also true that you are a householder. Being a householder, it is impractical for you to ask your wife to stay away from you, or indeed for your wife to say that to you. And if you do ask your wife to stay away, then aren't you hurting her, as she may not be a spiritual minded like you? Some people have said that husband and wife should do their spiritual practices together, so that the woman doesn't feel neglected. Mahatma Gandhiji used to do this. You may be surprised to know that in his old age, once Mahatma Gandhi asked two women to lie naked next to him in his bed. He wanted to experiment and see if this leads to a rise of sexual desire in his mind. As it turned out, no sexual upsurge occurred. Now, this experiment may have been appropriate for Gandhiji, but who will be right to involve someone else in your experimentations? Will this be fair? This is not some kind of game. If you go close, a weave of sexual desire rises, and if you go far, it doesn't. You may stay away from your wife, you may even leave your house and become a recluse, but you will not be able to run away from your upsurges that will keep arising in your mind. It will be a consistent tussle, and if you have to endure this tug of war, even when you become a recluse, by forcibly restraining your mind, how many days will you be able to do this? I reiterate, this is not a question of deliberate, forcibly fasting, restraining, or abstaining. Cow dung smells, but when the same cow dung is mixed with mud to make a fertilizer, a fragrant rose can grow in that. Likewise, if you have sexual upsurge to cow dung, when one blends this into the seed of meditation, then this very sexual drive gets transformed into celibacy. Naturally, if you just pick up cow dung and empty it into a flower pot, it will not get transformed to fragrance straight away. It takes time. And over time, sewage becomes a fertilizer. When we had first put this in the ashram garden, there was such a revolting stench everywhere. But within a week, the stench weakened, and soon the wilted grass grew into luxuriant lawn. But you need to be patient, as it takes time for transformation to occur. Don't get stressed by this. Don't burden your mind. If you bring in the seed of meditation, in due course of time, the stench of sexual drive will act as a fertilizer and get transformed into fragrance. But patience is essential. After all, you don't graduate the first day you attend school, do you? A child tells his mother that he won't go to school anymore. When the mother asks the reason, the child says, well, I have learnt A, B, C, D, but it looks like my teacher hasn't. Excuse me. This is the reason all she ever teaches is A, B, C, D. This may be funny, but it's not the truth, is it? The teacher obviously knows much more, but she can teach the child only gradually. Likewise, you've just got admission to the school of spirituality, and it doesn't make any difference what all spiritual practices you did, which path you followed before you came to me. There was a chap who was holding on to a bicycle and running. Someone asked him why he was running, to which he replied that he was in a hurry. The onlooker said, why don't you ride the bicycle? The man replied, well, I don't have the time. The onlooker quizzed, where are you going anyway? The man replied, to the market. The other chap remarked, but this road goes to the station and not to the market. So no matter how long you run on the wrong road, will you reach your desired destination? Thus, I cannot comment on which path you followed earlier. You have enrolled in my school today. How can I give you the certificate right away that you have successfully accomplished celibacy? But what I will say is that never condemn yourself for having sexual upsurges. After all, it is given to you by nature. It is a natural instinct. It is just that you haven't understood it, and you haven't learned how to make use of it for your upliftment. Don't criticize yourself that I am full of lust, full of greed. The more you criticize yourself, the more you fall down. All that is needed is understanding, power of discrimination, and knowledge. Once you start experiencing the depth in meditation, it will automatically cease to be an issue for you. Don't worry, don't obsess on ways to come out of it, and don't condemn yourself. Just remember that you can transform the stench into fragrance. Ramakrishna Paramhans was married to a much younger girl, Sharada. For several years she lived with her parents, and then she was sent to her husband's house in Dakshineshwar. Ramakrishna was a devout devotee of Goddess Kali. At the time immersed in his spiritual practices, what meaning would a wife hold for such a person? There was never any desire in his mind to have any kind of physical interaction with her. Then one day he had a thought, I am somebody's husband. I need to be with my wife. So he decided that night he would sleep with his wife. When night fell, he went into his wife's room, where she was sitting on her bed. As soon as he went close to her, his state of mind changed completely. In his wife, he started to see the goddess Kali. He got intensely overwhelmed by an outpouring of devotional sentiments. His body started shaking. Tears of joy were flowing down his cheeks. Sharada saw all this and realized that her husband was indeed a great devotee, a sage. This state of Ramakrishna persisted for the entire night. Sharada got up, having had a bath, she got involved in doing her morning chores, whereas Ramakrishna stayed in that state of ecstasy. When he regained body consciousness, he ran to the idol of Kali in the temple and cried out, "Oh, mother, why did you allow this body to get married when all women appear to me as a form of you? I see your form even in my wife. Why, oh why, then did you let this marriage happen?" But Sharada was no ordinary woman. On the day of Durgashtami, he made Sharada sit on the pedestal of Goddess Kali and worshipped her as he did the Goddess Kali. It was that day that Sharada went into the state of Nirvikalpa Samadhi. What a sight it must have been! Ramakrishna performing the worship with all the traditional rituals and offering flowers at the feet of Sharada, and Sharada sitting absorbed in Samadhi. Ramakrishna couldn't get into a sexual interaction with his wife, even when he had wanted to do so, but he didn't run away from Sharada. He was close to her, and yet his state of mind was so different. It entails that it is futile to suppress, to run away from your spouse. If you want to escape, escape from your unawareness, unconsciousness, ignorance, and lack of understanding. Remember, the one who has this understanding experiences joy in his life. Sorry, I've just got lost track there. But he didn't run away from Sharada. He was close to her, and yet his state of mind was so different. It entails then that it is futile to suppress, to run away from your spouse. If you want to escape, escape from your unawareness, unconsciousness, ignorance, and lack of understanding. Remember, the one who has this understanding experiences joy in his life. Others are just born and then die one day, caught up in the wheel of samsara. Baltu Sahib has said, I am crying, seeing the turning wheels of the mill. Everyone is crushed. No one will be saved in it. From dawn to night, from birth to death, there is no escape from the grip of this samsara. The grain which will fall in hand mill, can't be saved, but one who sticks with the pole will be saved. A sage is like a pole. Day and night are the two wheels of time which will kill everything in time. Only the one who grasps the lifeline of the master, he alone has the opportunity to escape the vice-like grip of this ever-turning wheel. Unawareness, unconsciousness, and dispassion cannot go hand in hand. This is anti-ethical. Likewise, unawareness and celibacy cannot go together. So Baltu Sahib says the one who wants to have both these is in effect hurting and damaging himself. If you want dispassion, then you will have to emerge out of unconsciousness, from the grip of ignorance. One who wishes to be dispassionate and yet joins the world, it is similar to eating poison. And alas, death would then be inevitable. Baltu Sahib is urging all to enter the realm of meditation. Be meditative and refuse to fall into the traps of the world's attraction. So when people ask you to accompany them to the cinema or indeed any other place, you refuse to go, saying that you would rather use the time to be in meditation. What happens now is that you refuse once, but when the other person requests again and again, you give in and you agree to go along, thinking that you can meditate some other time. Now, my dears, you need to perform your spiritual practices with consistent, determined resolve. But having said that, for householders, it is not appropriate to keep on refusing their children or spouse. After all, when you are seeing all the drama of this world, what is the harm then in going to the cinema? See, I'm not encouraging you to go to see the cinema. What I'm saying is that you have opted to give birth to the children. Hence, you do have responsibility towards them and their happiness. If you are rooted, established in your awareness and in your spiritual practices, then what difference does any worldly activity make? Generally, people ask you to keep away from sages and gurus, for they think that means no fun, no movies, only doom and gloom, like a ravaged garden, like a plundered marriage procession. And those so-called gurus who do advocate such a mirthless, mournful demeanour do so because they are afraid. In fact, they believe that if you laugh too much, this will lead to rising of sexual thoughts. Instead, I say that if someone is living in awareness and meditativeness, using his power of discrimination, then there is no need to run away from the world. What kind of dispassion is that? Is that you won't even talk to your children? Today is Monday, and it is my day of observing silence. Well, it won't be a surprise if you get a thrashing from your father or brother who is expecting you to help out in the day's work or business activities. It would be no wonder if they were to ask you to keep away from the Guru who is giving you such advice. The morning time is yours. The night time is yours. Do your meditation then. Who is preventing you from doing so? If you want to observe silence, quietude, and fix a day in the week and inform your family members that on that day you will not talk to anyone and spend the entire day in spiritual practice. The remaining days of the week fulfill your duties towards your spouse, children, and parents. Don't run away from your responsibilities. But people misguidedly think that true spiritual practice cannot take place in the confines of a home. They believe that one needs to give up everything and become a monk. People write letters to me saying that they can't live in their homes anymore. My reply is, why not? If you can't stay at home amongst your near and dear ones, how will you live amongst strangers in the ashram? People who come from all over the country. How will you gel with them? Everyone's personality is different. Cultural background is different. If you couldn't perform spiritual practices whilst living with your own people, how will you do so living amid strangers? I have all kinds of models here in the ashram, from Punjab, Maharashtra, Uttar Pradesh. Their personalities are different. Their backgrounds are different. There is a Marathi character. When she gets angry, she starts ranting and raving in Marathi, and no other person understands Marathi. She starts off in English with people who do not understand English. And moreover, when someone laughingly points that out, that infuriates her even more. Then there is a Nepali model. Once I asked him to do something. Immediately he ran off to do it, but he returned within minutes. I asked him if he had finished the task. He replied, "Actually, I didn't understand what the task was." I said, "Why did you run? You could have asked me to repeat the instruction." I have to deal with all kinds of oddballs. I asked someone to get me some table salt so that I could put it on my food. Quite some time had elapsed, but there was no sign of this person. I sent another person to find out what was going on. She came back saying that girl was standing crying as she'd forgotten what I had asked for. I asked someone to get me a cup of tea, and the person gave it to someone else instead. I say one thing and they understand or do something totally different. 2 of my disciples had been to Nepal to oversee the arrangements that were being made for my visit to Mansarovar. A fellow gave them a canister of water from the lake Manasarovar, and they brought it back to the ashram. One of them delegated someone the task of distributing a spoonful of the water. There were around 20 to 25 people in the ashram then, but when the canister reached me at the end, it was empty. When I inquired how that had happened, I got the reply, "I was told to give the water to all." So the person had kept on distributing until the water had got over. See how I am tolerating all this foolishness? But remember, I can endure all this, but you will be unable to do so. I can endure it because they all love me, and I know that it was the love for me that has made them leave their families and come to live here in the ashram. I am also aware that their dotty behaviour is often due to their shyness, inhibition, or fear that prevents them from asking me to repeat or clarify the task. There was one lady who came to live in the ashram. She had lived a sheltered life, spoilt by her parents, so she didn't know how to make a cup of tea, let alone how to cook. But at the ashram, all work very hard. So she was taught how to cook. By cajoling, scolding, encouraging, I could tolerate the incompetence patiently. But how will you deal with it? I can put up with all, but can you? And if you don't, it will lead to anger, envy, fights. Does that mean that you want to come to the ashram to fight? The one who cannot carry on spiritual practice in his own house, amongst his own people, he will never be able to do so in the ashram. Ashram life is very difficult, very demanding. It is not easy to live here. So be dedicated and give time to your spiritual practices in the surroundings of your own home. Behave courteously with one and all. Do not condemn, do not criticize anyone, and importantly, never condemn yourself. You may have faults, demerits, but they can be eradicated, so don't criticize yourself. Just as disparaging, criticizing others is wrong, so is condemning your own self. Have faith in Lord's grace and get showered on one and all, without any discrimination whatsoever. Believe that all your impurities are getting cleansed in that shower of grace, and enter the world of meditation with this resolute belief. Chapter 24. O Master, Pranam at your lotus feet. I have introduced various meditation techniques over a period of time, and the reason for this diversity is that every practice has its own unique benefit. Whenever you opt for any technique, you need to do it regularly, at the same time, every day, at least for a month. This is because the mind needs time to understand, and the minute aspects of every technique will be known only when you practice regularly. Dynamic meditation, Sakriya Dhyana, should always be done on an empty stomach, and it is best done in the morning. Nishkriya Dhyana, Pranav Dhyana, and Mudra Dhyana, all these techniques can be practiced in the morning, or at night before sleeping, or in the evenings. But the important thing to bear in mind is that no matter which practice you select, you need to do it regularly for at least 1 month. Someone has written that he gets confused during the meditation practice. Sometimes something happens, at other times something else happens or doesn't happen. See, you need to use your common sense. Use your intellect. This is like you're cooking some vegetables, and while doing so, you decide to make tea in the same utensil at the same time. So you start putting tea leaves, sugar in the pot that you were cooking the vegetables. Then you get confused and put lentils and flour all in the same pot. Well, if you end up making such a potpourri, you will need to get your head examined. There is no question of getting confused. Sit with a determined resolve. And it would be better if you listen to the instructions from an audio tape, as this will help to rein your uncontrolled mind. Question. Sometimes when I'm doing a practice using one of your CDs, the link of instructions appears to break up, and at other times I find it difficult to follow the instructions. Is this due to sleep, lack of resolve, or just a trick of the mind? The questionnaire has later clarified that as he was following the instructions, he lost track of the tape. He couldn't hear anymore. Well, this is not sleep, as I have discussed earlier. When the inner consciousness starts to awaken, you start losing the connection to your body, to the senses and the surroundings. This is not sleep. The sign of sleep is that when it occurs, the position of the body changes. Kabir says, you have forgotten that you've been blessed with a human life. You have forgotten your true religion. If you use this life only to fill your stomach, to sleep and procreate like an animal, then you will be wasting the precious gift bestowed on you by the Lord. Life cannot be only about eating, sleeping, and indulging in sexual gratification, or else what will be the difference between a man and an animal? Hence, it is not enough to live like a human for the few days, i.e. one attends a meditation camp and then returns home to the animalistic way of living. I would further add that if you don't want to live your life with prudence, don't want to understand your responsibility towards yourself, don't want to carry on with spiritual practices, in that case, waste your time in attending meditation camps. Why waste those 5 days too? The art of living learnt in a meditation camp is but a beginning, where you learn how to live a meaningful life and actuate your potential. But the actual work is to be carried out when you return to your daily routine life. Hence, if these 5 days that you're spending here at the Shivir, you regard them as an auspicious start to your spiritual practice, only then will this time be worthwhile. On the contrary, if you revert back to your old ways when you return to the world, then the process of spiritual upliftment will end even before it has properly begun. Kabir says, Din bisrayo re, which means, you have forgotten your true religion. People take pride in boasting that they are Hindu, Sikh, Muslim, but I say that religion is not something to boast about. So a Hindu is proud to proclaim that he is a Hindu, but if he equates Hinduism to wearing certain coloured clothes, the symbol of a trishul, trident, the tilak, paste of sandalwood on the forehead, then I would say that he is insulting the essence of Hindu religion. It is indeed lamentable that people equate religion with the external appearance. Likewise, if a Sikh equates Sikhism only with wearing the 5 symbols, Kirpan, Kacha, Gada, Ganga, Gesh, then I would say that he is disrespecting Guru Gobind Singh. If a Muslim equates Islam to only reading namaz for 5 times and rest of the time indulge in sinful activities, then he is debasing the true meaning of Islam and disrespecting the teachings of Prophet Muhammad. A person can be labelled as being religious only if he has the virtues of compassion, clemency, non-violence, love, humility, wanting to be in service of others, and is brave enough to follow these precepts fearlessly. Even if one has to die following the precepts, then so be it. A Kshatriya belonging to the group of warriors should follow the religion appropriate for Kshatriyas. Arjuna kept on saying that he would relinquish everything, become a recluse, and then he wouldn't fight, wouldn't kill. But Shri Krishna had to explain to him that if he went off to the forest without fighting the war, then the Kshatriyaness within him would later erupt as a volcano, and that would be devastating. But although Arjuna was a warrior, he also had humility and wisdom. Then there are those who just keep bragging about their self-professed Hinduism, but have neither wisdom nor humility. Nor do they perform any spiritual practices, simply holding a trident in their hands and declaring that they are Hindus. What is the point in that? How will that be beneficial to anyone? Guru Nanak Dev had elucidated the attributes that are needed to become a disciple: humility, desire to serve others, and be courteous to all. If you are bedecked with these jewels, this will certainly catch the Lord's eye. So it is futile to simply focus on the external labels. Labels don't sell. It is the product that sells. For example, say a washing up soap is packaged like a well-known brand, but inside it is a poor quality imitation fake. Won't you complain to the shopkeeper? Well, you should complain and bring it to the authorities' attention. Nowadays, most cities have a customer grievance centre that will act upon your complaints. Will you buy damaged goods or fake goods just because their packaging is attractive? You buy stuff for its quality, not its label. And if ever you buy something which looks authentic from the label, but when you open it you realise it is fake, you would return it to the shop and take a refund. Likewise, just by adorning yourself with the label of being religious, one doesn't automatically become religious. And furthermore, just by getting initiation from a guru doesn't automatically make you a disciple. Quite a few people think that just by putting my picture in the rosary bead they wear around their neck, they can call themselves as my disciple. But how can you be my disciple if there is no spirituality in your life? when you're not making any efforts to come out of egoism. I have never said that just by getting initiation from me, you automatically come out of egoism. So, when I give initiation to people, I clarify that just by getting initiated, don't label yourself as my disciple. It is not easy to become my disciple. It comes at a considerable cost indeed. Nothing comes free in this world, and that too, the world which is perishable, impermanent. Then, do you think that something as invaluable as the guidance to tread the spiritual path, the guidance to get liberated from all sufferings and bondage, will come cheap? No, no, my dear, you have to pay. And the cost is honesty, dedication, unshakable resolve in committing to do regular spiritual practice, faith, and the will to surrender. It cannot be that when you are in the ashram you follow the Guru's teachings, but when you return home you follow your own mind. Such should be the dedication to the Master that even when you return home, the Master and his words of wisdom should resonate within you. However, most people find this difficult. So although they listen to the Master's words, they end up doing what they want. They behave as they want to and follow the ways of their own mind. They just pretend to follow the Master when the Master is physically present around them. Bow to the Guru and maybe serve the Guru in some way, but follow the dictum of your own mind. But what is service? What does seva entail? Some people think that just by bringing something for me, they have served me. Do you think that you can serve me by getting stuff for me? And moreover, when I repeatedly ask you not to bring anything for me? For I believe that an offering should have some utility to the Master. Otherwise, what is the use? Shri Krishna had eaten the handful of raw grains of rice brought by Sudama. Imagine if he had to eat raw rice brought by thousands of followers. What would be the state of his stomach then? Some people write to me saying that you are our Krishna and I am Sudama. But I cannot literally become Krishna, and neither can you become Sudama. The divine play never gets repeated. Every creation of God is unique and is never repeated. In this continuously flowing life, nothing gets reduplicated, redone. God creates a new model, a new character, a new life every time. But people write that they are Sudama and I am Krishna. But if Krishna had 20 Sudamas, then Krishna would have asked them to bring cooked rice, which would be edible, and preferably along with cooked lentils. But you keep bringing stuff that is not useful. What is the point in getting things that are of no use to me? I often tell people that the ashram is yours, so whatever you bring will in effect be used by you. So instead of wasting hundreds of rupees and getting clothes for me, that money could be used towards the ongoing construction of residential quarters, which is for the benefit of visitors. In this context, let me clarify that I am no colonizer who will keep on building and expanding the ashram premises. The construction work will only be done as per the ashram plan, no more. And as long as this is going on, whatever services you offer towards it will be acceptable. That will be better than getting clothes. If you profess to love the Guru but don't follow his words, then such a person is a mind worshipper and not a Guru worshipper, as he follows his mind and not the Guru's words. He who follows the teachings of the Guru to the letter, who executes the Guru's instructions unreservedly, he alone is a disciple. You don't become a disciple by hanging a photo of the Guru around your neck or by taking any mantra from the Guru. It is not as simple as that. If you want to be a true follower of your Guru's teachings, then you need to follow the Guru's teachings carefully. You need to stop living an animalistic life of eating, sleeping, and procreating. So I think we'll stop there now, if that's okay. So we're on page 250, chapter 24. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Babaji, Lord Buddha, and Guru Ma, and all divine masters. Okay, on to our short meditation now. Finally sit with your feet crossed. Cross your feet. Clasp your fingers into fingers. Remove any glasses if you're wearing any. Gently close your eyes. And we'll take 3 deep breaths. So we'll take a deep breath through the nose. Feel your stomach expand and exhale through your mouth. So let's take a nice deep breath in. Hold. And gently release through your mouth. And again, a nice deep breath in. Hold. And gently release through your mouth. And again, a nice deep breath in. Hold. And gently release through your mouth. And focus on each incoming breath and outgoing breath. Feel how the air temperature is of the air going in through your nostrils, the coldness of the temperature. Every single breath, the air we're taking in is bringing us lots and lots of positivity, the life force, the energy into each and every single cell of our body. And every single outgoing breath is taking away all our toxins, any negativities, anything that's not good for us is being released. Now just gently take your focus to your feet. Shake them if they're a bit stiff. Feel the top of your feet, the soles of your feet. And feel how relaxed and calm you feel. Focus on your shins, calf muscles. Totally relaxed. Knees, thighs, hip area, pelvic area. Totally relaxed. All your organs, kidneys, stomach, intestine, heart, lungs. Totally relaxed. All working in sync like a magical machine. Now take your attention to your shoulders. Lift them up and down if you feel a bit stressed in any way. Shake them, lower them. And as you focus on your shoulders, take a nice deep breath again. And lower your shoulders and feel the tension melt away. Feel the top of your arms, elbows, lower arms, hands, totally at ease. Your back, upper back, middle back, lower back, totally relaxed. Your neck, front, back, ears, top of your head, back of your head, facial muscles, totally relaxed. Your forehead, eyes, eyebrows, nose, cheeks, mouth, totally relaxed. And now that we're in this relaxed state, see yourself as a beautiful shining light that's residing in between your eyes. And as you feel yourself as a bright, beautiful light, take yourself out through your forehead, out of your Shastra chakra, and look down and see what a beautiful, beautiful body we've been blessed with. That's working in perfect sync and is absolutely amazing in every way. And take yourself out of your home, out of the rooftop, into your neighborhood, and see yourself flying high in the sky. And as you're going along, you feel totally, totally relaxed and free. No tensions, no worries. Be in the here and now. Don't worry about any thoughts of the past or the future. Just be in the present moment. And if you do get any thoughts, don't worry. Just watch them as a witness and see them passing by as clouds, but don't pay any attention to them. And as you're focusing on yourself as this beautiful, beautiful light, let's take ourselves to a wonderful, wonderful ocean. See yourself on top of an ocean that looks absolutely breathtaking, as if it's never ending. So much water, and the ocean is so inviting. And as you come to the ocean, see yourself coming into the ocean. You put one foot in, your right foot, and the water feels lovely and warm. Then you put your left foot in. And now see yourself as an actual wave. So you're no longer the light, no longer the body. You're a beautiful, beautiful wave within the ocean. And you feel totally, totally unified with the ocean. As if you're going to and fro with the waves, with the tides. It's almost like you're holding hands with all the other water droplets, as all the other waves, in total sync, total unison, united. You feel very, very strong, calm, relaxed, and happy. How beautiful to be one with the ocean, to be merged with the ocean. And as the tide comes in, you see yourself coming up to the shore, and then you see you gently coming back to the ocean again, taking the sand, the pebbles with you. And as you feel yourself as this beautiful wave, look upwards and show gratitude to the beautiful sunshine for giving you the heat, the warmth, the light, and the life that we know without the sun we would not be here. So enjoy basking in this beautiful, beautiful sunshine in the form of this wave. And as you look up, you see droplets of water coming in to merge with the water of the ocean too. Feel yourself cooled off with the water droplets coming into the waves. It's a deep, deep gratitude to rainfall and the water. Again, without this key element, we would not be able to live. And then you feel the wind that's making you move around as the waves. And you feel totally, totally at ease and happy. It's almost as though you're doing a dance in the ocean in the form of a wave. Totally, totally let yourself go and enjoy this moment of merging with the ocean. You're not on the seashore anymore, you're actually in the deep ocean. The amazing, beautiful God that lives within us is the same sort of droplet within the water of you as a wave that's now merged with this beautiful ocean. Feel the love of the ocean. and the love of the beautiful, beautiful sea creatures there. The fishes, all the crabs, and all the beautiful dolphins coming in and out of your waves. And it's like all the fishes have come to say, welcome to our part of the world. Lovely to have you here. But you don't feel alienated, don't feel as though you're on your own, because you are one with the whole of the ocean, unified, strong, and calm and happy. When we feel one with the Supreme Almighty, beloved God, we feel the strength within, that we are protected, we're loved, and we're special, because the divinity resides within us too. And as you've merged with this beautiful ocean, hear the beautiful seagulls and the birds above you, as if they're singing a song for you. You feel totally, totally in your element. Now, having experienced this beautiful, beautiful existence as a wave, see yourself coming out of the ocean now, back into the light form that you were when you got into the ocean. And see yourself coming back up into the sky, as if you're like a free bird, but light as a feather. Now let's show our deep, deep gratitude for everything that we've experienced in our lives, for all the past positivity, joy, happiness, love, peace, all the amazing qualities of God. God is love, so am I. God is joy, bliss, happiness, so am I. God is peace and harmony, so am I. God is omnipresent, so am I. God is all-knowing knowledge, so am I. With these positive thoughts, how we associate ourselves to have all of God's qualities, we feel one with the divine being. And let's show our deep, deep gratitude to our parents, grandparents, and all our ancestors for all their kind love, kindness, blessings, and for protecting us and helping us with their teachings and love to make us who we are today. Deep, deep gratitude to every single teacher and guru who've helped us progress and grow on our spiritual path. Deep, deep gratitude to our family, our partners, spouses, siblings, children, wider family, neighbours, colleagues, every single person that's had an impact on your life in some shape or form. Deep, deep gratitude for helping you be where you are today. Deep, deep gratitude to our Ishtadev, who we believe in, to our gurus for holding our hands and teaching us this spiritual knowledge. Deep, deep gratitude to this amazing book that we've covered and to all the books, spiritual books, that help us see things from a different light, to help awaken the inner divinity within us and to help us progress, reach our soul purpose. Deep, deep gratitude to the mineral kingdom, to Mother Nature, to Mother Earth, to all birds, animals, species, to all the 5 elements, all the seasons, and deep, deep gratitude to all the learning and all our experiences that are making us grow wiser and better on our spiritual path. Deep, deep gratitude for the power of our mind and imagination to visualize these amazing meditations. Deep, deep gratitude to IT, to Zoom, for uniting us and bringing us together. Our phones, our laptops. We are so, so blessed to have so much in our lives. Deep, deep gratitude for every single thing in our life and every single person in our life. What we appreciate, appreciates. So always show gratitude for everything we have. And with that thought, see yourself as this beautiful, bright, shining light that's coming back into the neighborhood, back into your home, and gently come back into this beautiful, beautiful body that we're so, so blessed to have. Now gently rub your hands and place your fingers over your beautiful, beautiful eyes. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now gently open your eyes, but keep your hands covered, and take in this beautiful, beautiful cosmic energy and light that we've just been blessed with. Spread this around your whole beautiful face, head, ears, neck, shoulders, arms, elbows, stomach, chest, thighs, knees, legs. Give yourself a big hug as well. And thank you, thank you, thank you, Babaji, Lord Buddha, Guru Ma, all divine masters, and deep, deep gratitude, appreciation, and love to you all for joining today's session and sharing your divine energies with us as well. Deep, deep gratitude. Thank you, thank you, thank you.